oké, ik ben de
Ja, ja,
puzzel.
ja.
En daar doet niemand moeilijk over, dus Robert? Dit gaat niet lekker, hè? Yeah, 1 second. Zal ik ze vragen of ze nog even binnenkomen, die 4 weer die weglopen, dat we gaan beginnen?
Ja, toch wel. Volgens mij zeiden ze dat ze naar het toilet gingen.
Ah, gaan we even. Ja. Ah. Ja? Ik check even bij Robert. Robert. Ben je oké? Ja? Oké. Okay. Thank you for your patience. We had a bit of a technical issue, but we solved it. So, thank you. Welcome everybody to the Innovation Café. My name is Charlotte Grun. I'm a social designer based in Eindhoven. I see some new faces, but also some people who are been here before. Who is here for the first time? Oh, wow. How did you find the Innovation Café? Oh, through her. Really good, really good. Bring your friends and colleagues always. And you?
I don't know. I think it was a social thing.
A social thing.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Welcome. Welcome. Well, how we do it? We have 2 speakers. The theme of today is Stop Pitching Health Tech, Start Setting the Table. And what we mean by that is that here in Brainport we have innovation, tech, design companies, startups. But who do we need to bring our startup further than just a pilot project? And that's what we were discussing right now. And the theme that we have is healthcare. So very social. But I'm also curious a bit about the audience. Hey, welcome. Who works in tech? Just curious. Yeah, Betsy, I know you work in tech. Yeah. And design? Aw, not so much today. And who works in a startup? Okay, nice. And healthcare, someone? Okay, not so many today, so that's good. And something else? Well, maybe for the government. Yeah, musician, right? Yeah. Municipality, yeah. Well, okay. Well, we have 2 speakers today. And what is interesting is we have Sophie and we have Do. And Sophie really works with target groups, with people, but also people who are normally overlooked by companies. Is that right, Sophie? Yeah. And Do, you have a startup called Active at Age, and your startup is about groups of people, right? So there's a difference between the approach of the startup. Please give a big applause for Sophie. We will start with you. Please come over. You can take the mic here. Yes. Okay. Well, you're an innovation specialist.
Yeah.
And you're also founder of Onda
Innovations.
thank you. And a co-creator.
Yeah.
Okay. And I've heard that you have this app, Frequency, and I've heard it was downloaded more than 50,000 times.
Yeah, Frequency.
Frequency, sorry. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
So Frequency is an augmented reality serious game. So to name a lot of buzzwords, but it's an app that people with tinnitus, so that's a chronic beep in your, or it doesn't have to be a beep, it can be a sound, a buzz, anything that they have. And this app, it gives exposure therapy in a playful form, so in a gamified form. So you match your own tinnitus sound in the app, and then you enter this game world, which is just your own living room, and you go searching for your own tinnitus sound. And that's the game. You expose yourself to the sound in a gamified way.
And what is serious game?
Yeah, serious game is it's gaming, but it's meant to learn something or de-learn something in your brain. So it can be learning English or dealing with dyslexia, but it can also be teaching your brain not to react to tinnitus in a severe way.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
And I've heard you studied innovations, you told me before. What means innovation for you? Because I think innovation also becomes a bit of a buzzword, maybe because we're also in Brainport and we all do innovation, of course, but what does it mean for you?
For me, it doesn't always have to be something new. It's just applying something that can already be there to a problem in a way that hasn't been done before. So to help people and maybe look further than your own little bubble.
Okay, nice. And you brought some slides.
I brought
some projects.
Slides. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's me. There's 3 projects that I would like to highlight that are relevant to my experience and to the things that I talk about. So I would like to address them. In the next slide, I have some pictures. Can you go to the next slide? Yeah. So the first one is Frequency. I talked a little bit about that just now. It's an app for people with tinnitus. It gives daily content about what tinnitus is, what your brain is, where you can find trustworthy information about it. And there's the game aspect of it. So you match your tinnitus sound and then you go looking for it in your own living room. And we use augmented reality and spatial audio. And what you do is you just go hunting for your own sound. So you listen to where do you think your sound is coming from, and then through your phone lens you just go looking around the room, and where you think the sound is, you will see a little bird in a cage, and you tap it and the bird flies away and your tinnitus sound goes away. And then you have to hunt for it again, and that's just the whole game. And what you're doing is exposing yourself to your sound in a non-threatening environment. And that's based on principles of exposure therapy, but also cognitive behavioral therapy. And you do this every day for 100 days, and then, it can really help you with the way you see your tinnitus, but also how much impact it has on your life. The second one is Pillow. It's a game controller made for people with severe mental or physical disabilities. They usually have a developmental age of around 2, and this game controller is just in the form of a regular pillow with very sensitive pressure sensors in it, and with that they can actually play really simple games, and it's a huge thing for this target audience because a lot of their activities are based around just experiencing things, watching movies, listening to music, and with this they can actually do something, they can manipulate something by themselves. And the third one is the Parel Cup. It's alternative breast prosthetic for people who are missing a breast or for trans people. It's lightweight, it's airy, so in this hot weather you won't have to deal with like a silicone breast that's sweating. And the problem with that airiness was that it was too light, and there was a group of people with heavier breasts that needed a little bit of weight. And that's why we developed the Parel Cup. It's a weighed down version of it in different weight classes. And they use little glass beads in the form of pearls. Inside. So you can still use it in a washing machine. It's, you can just wear it in regular bras. And it really allows women to live their lives, just like they used to before the surgeries. So those are the three I'd like to talk about.
Oh wow, nice. Thank you. I already have a question. I have tinnitus myself. Are there other people who have tinnitus? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we should download the app because
You
then he
should.
has one. But I'm just curious because the solutions that you have, that you explain here, sound almost simple.
Yeah.
You know, simple.
Easy.
Easy, yeah. Like, why didn't someone come up with it earlier?
Yeah, for frequency, for example, it was because tinnitus is a target audience that I think a lot of companies don't want to burn their hands on because it's very sensitive topic. People are they're very emotional about it, and there's a really big rupture between the healthcare people that they develop for and the people that actually have tinnitus. There's just not a lot of innovation happening there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why did you start with it? Or the company? Because you started with the company, yeah?
Yeah. Actually, it's really funny because we just met a manual therapist. It's the guy in the middle picture of frequency. And he had a lot of people with tinnitus in his clinic that he couldn't help. And he stumbled upon scientific research that had this idea of exposing yourself through virtual reality. And then we started talking, and we got to the idea of we can do that better with augmented reality, so people can use it on their phones. And that's where it started rolling. We just went from there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. But you also said, we had a little bit conversation always before, that it also backlashed a little bit.
Yeah. In two ways. The first way was that we launched just with the target audience, just with a lot of...
So it was a bit of a startup kind of thing, yeah? So you started with the manual therapist, and then...
Yeah, we just got a group of people with tinnitus in our network, and we just started developing. When we thought we were ready, we just launched it, and we went to the press, and that was the biggest thing that we didn't really thought through. So the press was really enthusiastic about this idea and about the subject, but they brought it like we were the solution to tinnitus. And a lot of people with tinnitus were really, they were really happy. They were like, oh my God, they've been following this subject for years now, and they were like, oh, finally, there's this big breakthrough, and there's this app, and they can help me. But then it was just a game, and you had to pay for it, and it's just exposure therapy in a different, in a different form. So we got a lot of backlash from there.
Okay.
And the other side of it is that we went a different route than traditionally. Traditionally, you would go do a really big scientific research. You would put millions of euros into that. And then you would have this scientific paper, and you would get scientists behind you and people from the healthcare that are high up, and they would support your product, and then you would be introduced into the healthcare system. And we just launched with our target audience, and we were just like, hey, use this. And we had scientific basis, of course, and we had some scientists that are backing us. but we didn't do the traditional route, and so yeah, the traditional tinnitus healthcare market was not too happy with our.
Because your app was also based on research.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but because we didn't do specific huge research on applying augmented reality instead of virtual reality, yeah, it's not, based in real science.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And how do you use your target group? How do you work with them? How does it work?
Yeah, so we have a really tight group of people that can apply to, just have a focus group with us. So we do a lot of focus groups and a lot of questionnaires, and we just keep going from there. So nothing that we implement is our own idea. We all take it from people that are already using it. So, yeah. Nice.
You create it together with your target group.
Yeah.
Really nice, really nice. I'm so happy that everybody is here. I see so many sweaty, not really sweaty, but people who are like having it really hot. No, you don't look sweaty, but I see like people are like, it's so hot. So thank you so much for being here. And we have water in the back. If you need one, please take it. You can stand up and take it. We will go to Do.
Yeah.
So you work from the target group, and Do, you took a whole group, huh?
Yeah.
Elderly people. Yeah, I have a mic for you as well if you want. Sophie, if you want, you can sit down. You can also stand up if that, and take your water.
Yes.
Hey, welcome.
Thank
Do,
Yeah.
we already know each other a little bit.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah.
We work together actually on Active at Age.
Yeah. In the beginning.
Yeah. And you worked 40 years at Philips and Ethos.
Yeah, altogether, yes. True.
Altogether.
In the IT domain. Yeah.
Was it exactly 40 or a bit 40-ish?
Yeah, 40-ish.
40-ish. Wow.
It's long enough.
Yeah. And then you retired.
Yeah.
And you start volunteering. And you also became part of the community here at Innovation Café.
Yeah.
And there you met Hans.
Yeah, about a year ago now.
Who came up with the idea Active at Age?
Well, that was Hans, and Hans can't be here now. He's really the initiator of the whole idea.
And he says hi to the people who know him.
Yeah, he says hi. He's traveling this week. So, but we started to talk, and Hans had worked a very long time, lived a long time abroad, all sorts of countries. So he really came back to the Netherlands on a definitive basis. And what he noticed was that we have an aging society as such. That is not a surprise, and you see that in most countries in Europe and other places. But what he also noticed was that there are a lot of elderly people, and the potential of those elderly people is hardly used. And if you look at elderly people, broadly speaking, you can say there are two groups. There are elderly people who need support, who have various disabilities, who are getting older. And at the same time, you have a group of elderly people who are still very active. Children are gone, the house has been paid, they have lots of time. Now they can decide, okay, I want to spend my time on the golf course, I can go and make cruises and that sort of things. That's also a way of living, how to spend the third part of your life. But there are also people who say, okay, I really want to do something which is helpful, which is beneficial for other people, for more altruistic motives. And the idea of Active at Age is to bring those two groups together. So the idea is having elderly people of that second category helping people of the first category who are in need of support. That can be very broad, and I'll come back to that in a few moments. So what we do, and we cannot show it yet because it's still all paperware, is that we develop a platform to bring those people together. Now you probably say, okay, just another platform, because there are hundreds of platforms in the world. Every hour we get more platforms. Also platforms focusing on elderly people, for instance, going on holiday together. We have platforms for volunteers, like NL Volunteer in the Netherlands, for all sorts of groups. So the question we came up with is, well, if we come up with another platform, how can we really differentiate? Yeah, so that's from a commercial point of view. Yeah, of course, we want to make this initiative viable, also from a financial perspective. But at the same time, we also had the idea we want to bring something meaningful to people. Yeah, not just I'm looking for someone to do the job in my garden or someone to walk my dog. but we wanted to do something for elderly people in terms of structural support to help them creating a better life. If you look at elderly people, a lot of people are. Can I have the next slide?
Yeah.
So we started to think about, okay, what is it that elderly people are looking for? So what are the needs of elderly people? So then you start to Google, and the first time you hit is Maslow pyramid of needs. Probably familiar to most of you. So it's a fairly one-dimensional static model. Basic idea is that there are different needs, and that there's also a kind of hierarchy. So it starts with basic needs. As long as basic needs are not satisfied, you can talk about all sorts of nice things in terms of self-fulfillment and self-development, but if there's no bread on the table, I mean, first things first. So then maybe nice to dream about that, but it's not in the minds of people. Yeah. So that was a starting point, but then we thought about, okay, we want to have something which is more structural, a way to help people. And we thought there are two dimensions. I mean, this is also an engineering view of the world. Engineering is bad, there's always things about matrices and multiple dimensions. This is probably a sociologist, it's a one-dimensional model, okay. So we thought, okay, what is important in terms of the attitude of people? First dimension, the vertical one, is how receptive are people for change. Some people are really very conservative, they want to stick to what they have, they're afraid of change, and particularly elderly. You see that with elderly people, there's a tendency that they change less and less, while anyone can tell you a way to stay young, to stay fit, is keep on changing, keep on moving physically and mentally. So how to persuade people that they, if they are in this area, that they start changing again. That's on one dimension. The other dimension is more the social dimension. Are they focused purely on themselves, or are they actively engaging with others? So are they part of a group? And that's also what medical people can tell you. If you don't communicate anymore with other people, you become isolated and you get into a shrinking world that is basically a downward spiral. And you end up then in this zone that we call the survival zone. So active at age is about, if people are in this zone, get them out of this zone, bring them into this area, that area, and in the end, making them active members again of the society, that they undertake all sorts of initiatives, they are part of communities, and they are in the continuous change mode. Now that's a very ideal model. And some people may say, well, I'm a hermit, I live in a cave somewhere, and I'm perfectly happy living on my own. Perfect. I mean, we have an infinite variety of people, of course. But the key idea, coming back to how I started, is that elderly people who are in need of things have a danger of getting into this lower left corner. So getting into a shrinking world. And with Active at Age, we want to motivate people, we want to move people and make them changing themselves again, and also making sure they become an active part of communities, whatever the communities are that they want to be part of. Now that doesn't happen automatically by putting a platform in place. So what Active at Age, what the key differentiator is that we provide guidance to them, and we call them, those people, the happiness coaches, who essentially give people they act as a kind of, as a coach in finding out what people are looking for, how we can stimulate people again to come into motion. And that's a kind of service that we offer on top of the basic services. Now, some people may go to the platform and with the question, okay, I just need a gardener to do my garden, that's fine. But there are also people who say, okay, I really need some guidance, because I want to do more with my life than what I have in a moment. I mean, this is about the third part of your life. In the end, of course, we're all going to die. To start off, to end with a not so optimistic note, maybe. But the idea is, before you end up somewhere in this zone, try to to delay that as much as possible, so that you really get the maximum out of the rest of your life. That's basically. Can I have the last slide? That's basically what Active at Age is about. And the last slide.
Robert? Oh, can you go to the first?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, so in the end, our ambition is to grow happiness of people, is to make sure that they become part of communities, that they start interacting, and to enable personal growth. So in the end, we have a platform that gives contains all sorts of services around certain areas. So the core really is demand-supply matching. So we have people with needs going there, and we have other people who offer certain things, and that is organized into different service modules. So it's a very modular approach. So we start probably with 1 or 2 service modules, and over time that can grow depending on the people we run into. It's not a B2C model, so we're not going to sell this business to consumer, but it's business to business. So what we're looking for are organizations that already bring in communities of people like elderly interest groups, elderly homes, organizations like that, who can plug into this platform so that we can also very quickly get sufficient critical mass to get this going. But again, at the moment it's still paperware, we're talking to people, a lot of people are interested, so we're looking for money, obviously, we're looking for technical competence to build it, and we're looking for organizations who want to support this initiative.
Wow, nice. Thank you. No, please take it, because I have some questions.
Oh, yeah,
what
sure.
I really like about the project is that becoming older is it's being a part of a community instead of being a burden.
Mm-hmm.
But I also have a question, like, what is an elderly?
Yeah, we think that's very flexible. Anyone over 50.
Anyone over 50?
Yeah.
Okay, that's.
But if you look at
who feels not like an elderly?
Sure.
You don't have to say it.
But in practice, I mean, in the Netherlands, people retire at the age of 67, and 3 months still. So that's an interesting group, because those people no longer, unless they decide to look elsewhere otherwise, but those people don't longer have a job. So the key question for them is what to do with my time. And those are probably also not the people who are in direct need to be supported, because they are still perfectly capable of handling themselves mentally and physically. But that's the primary group we want to involve to support these other people who are in need of support.
Okay. Well, I read this book about the blue zones,
Mm-hmm.
and I've heard that being part of a community is like one of the key things to become healthy, happy, old person and live a happy life.
Yeah.
So becoming part of the community is, I think, key in the concept of the Active at Age.
Yeah, true.
And why do you have like the happiness manager?
Well, because you can say people just give the platform to the people that become members, they subscribe to it, but to make sure that they actually get into motion, that doesn't happen automatically. And so the idea of the happiness manager is that person builds up a personal relationship, I mean not on a daily basis, but it starts by with an intake to establish where someone is in terms of what are the key needs, are the basic needs fulfilled, or are there still basic priorities that we first need to address? If not, then what are the ambitions of that person? What would that person still want to do in life? Some people may not even know that, so then you go into an exploratory stage to find out what that person possibly could do or would like to do to make that person happy in the end. So that's the role of the coach. And the way we will bring this to the market is that there is a basic package that people can subscribe to. For some people that may be enough, but if people want to have this additional coaching service, then we can tailor that and it becomes an add-on to the basic package.
Okay. Thank you. Sophie, would you like to come up here? Because now we come to the part where also the audience can ask questions. But Sophie, first I have a question for you.
Yes.
Before I walk into the audience, I have to take that mic, so you have to share it. But you can have it for now. No, we stand here, Sophie. That's better for Doe. We discussed that. What would be your first question to Doe for Active at Age? From your perspective as an innovator and also...
Yeah, I noticed when I was listening that my my head is constantly looking at, okay, but make it smaller, and that's because my innovation that I work on are all a very targeted group and a very targeted issue, and then we make a solution around that. And to me, it sounds almost too broad. So what would you do? You have an idea of how you can make it specifically enough for people to use and not be it too ungraspable? Yeah.
Well, the way we will start is with a pilot, and we will focus on just 1 or 2 service modules, very basic. So that can be about gardening, for instance, depending also on the organizations that will join that initial pilot, what kind of clients they have. It can be doing jobs in the house, it can be at that level, it can be that kind of thing, just to test the concept and to see how the interaction goes with the subscribers, with clients, and also to test some of the very basics of the happiness coach to find out what kind of needs are there and how to work together to get that coaching in place as a kind of extra service.
Yeah.
And from there it can grow. I mean, we have no limitations, but the key thing is that it's not that we're just doing some ad hoc matching of needs and demands. Yeah, we want to have a permanent kind of relationship with clients and see how we can gradually improve their quality of life and making them happy.
Yeah.
And how is it going with the clients? Did you find companies are ready to join?
Well, we're still looking for these groups. We've identified them on paper, but we are about now to start, particularly in the Eindhoven region, to find out which organizations are really interested to get into this initiative. At the moment, we have a request to get it subsidized at the EU. Once that money is in, then we can start building something. And then we have also something to show these organizations, other than just telling the story and giving them the paperwork.
Yeah, and have you thought about what the work would be for the healthcare organizations that have to adopt them? Is there a role in a happiness manager for the people that work there? Or?
Yeah, that could be. Could be. Yeah. And the idea is also of the happiness manager that these are some of these energetic elderly people who say, I really like to do that kind of work.
Yeah.
Okay, it requires also a certain profile, of course, of the people to do that.
You also need to have a certain quality set to do
absolutely.
it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, we do this in a very secure environment.
Yeah.
So you have to be very careful. We have already in place a specific solution to handle the personal data, which is part, that's already one of the building blocks that we have. And it's very important that our clients get really the experience that the environment is absolutely safe. There are no banners, there are no pop-ups, cookies, that kind of things. It's really a secluded kind of environment.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a question from the audience? Can you share maybe the mic? Yeah, Betsy. Perfect.
I mean, I think I've worked a lot with startups, so I kind of see your venture as a little bit of a startup.
For who is this question?
This is for Doe.
Okay.
And I think you were kind of coaching him to just kind of go out there and do something small, which is a minimum viable product, right? Get out there and start testing. And I think that's kind of the topic we're talking about today in general from your title of today. But I was wondering, have you ever done a business model canvas or a value proposition?
Yeah, we have that.
I see that you're aware there on the screen, but maybe really digging deep under there, making sure you're looking at all the different stakeholders in the process and testing.
Yeah.
You assume that they
Well, that's still what we.
That's your
I mean,
process.
this has evolved over the last year.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and this is still something. Well, you should probably agree with me. A business proposition is something that you keep on refining from time to time based on what you encounter. But in the end, what I've talked about is what our mission is, our ambition, what we want to do, and the projection on how we want to implement it. That still needs some work to be done. Yeah, definitely.
Does anybody else has a question? Sorry, I have to do this. Yeah, that's always a bit interesting with the threads. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's safe. Yes.
First of all, thank you for the inspiring stories and ideas. Well-being of elderly people and topics like loneliness, etc., are one of my favorite. And according to the research, it's known that older people, and especially vulnerable group of older people, they're strong dependent on the nearby environment because of the physical limitation, etc., etc. So I was curious, do you consider that fact in your do you consider location or some range of
that's a very good point, because people become older and lose mobility in general. So what you see then, some extreme case, they are stuck to an elderly home or whatever, they don't leave it anymore. And the idea is, if you have a platform, then they can still have relationships, virtual relationships, beyond the physical limitations. And it can also be a way to connect them to other groups nearby, but that normally they don't get to. So this is also trying to expand their radius and their awareness of what else there is. It's also about trying to find support for them if they want to go out of that radius. So it's about things like that. And now in the IT world, in the past it was all physical, or you had to hire a coach or whatever. Now with communities, people can be anywhere. But then for certain, it depends also on the topic, but for certain communities it does make sense that people are in the vicinity of each other, because that gives them also the possibility to meet. For instance, frequently I come to an elderly home and there's a billiards downstairs. So the people come from the environment to play billiards there. So it's open to the environment, and that's also an opportunity for people to meet. Of course you have to be a billiard player then. But it is playing with these thoughts. So in general, the idea is through the platform that we extend the scope of people, we expand their radius.
Okay, thank you.
With our innovation pillow, the cushion that's made for people with severe disabilities, we also had a target audience that was very dependent on their environment. So they're dependent on their health providers, but also their parents. So there's like this triangle of the person that actually has the disease or the thing, and the parents and the healthcare personnel. And with designing our product, we really had to do a different project with a lot of research around who is going to use it if the person cannot use it themselves. So maybe it's interesting to also look at that, because you will have people that are not able to use a computer or use a phone or use something that the platform is on. So you have to design it also for the people that are going to use it for them, who have a different view on the product.
We were also thinking about, when I was part of it, we also were thinking about the children.
Yeah.
you have also the children of the elderly who also maybe live abroad or somewhere else and just want to, buy it off a little bit. That doesn't really sound nice, but just take care of them in a nice way. No, I have it here. Thanks. So, so that could also be interesting, I have another question. For who is your question?
For him, but actually she answered part of my question.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, because maybe I'm wrong, but part of the elderly, are not really internet friendly, especially those above 80, 90, which might need more of your platform. Just thinking about my grandparents as well. So I'm wondering if you are planning to include them, how? So thinking about inclusivity and so on, not to exclude them, how would you approach them to actually use your platform?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we think about families, and it depends a bit. Certain areas we would like to give family members also access to the platform and also access to personal data of the client. But that depends. First of all, it depends on what the client, him or herself, allows for, what they want. But it is important. We talk about supporting people, and making them happier. It can be done by elderly people, but it can also be done by other people. Yeah, so it's about what we want to achieve in the end and what is needed for that. So one way we need to work together with families, because quite often support is given by family members, children or friends, relatives. And the idea of what we do with Activate Age is also that we take part away of the burden that they have. Because in the Netherlands, at least, that is some concern. As the number of old elderly people grows, and the funding becomes less and less for healthcare. There's a bigger pressure on relatives, friends, to take care, to support the elderly people, while they have a life of their own and a job and a family, etc. So that's creating all sorts of frictions. So through the platform, we also want to take away some of that load, offload that from people like relatives.
Okay. Does anybody else have a question? Yes.
Yeah, this question is for you and also for you as well. Scalability. You are thinking of this as a very large project which is going to conquer Europe or the world, or this is like something which is really based, I don't know, in Eindhoven, for example, and it's going to serve just a community over here? And also for you, it has to do with scalability, because all your products, they are very niche focused. That's your intention for the future as well? You're going to keep on working like that? And I know you're looking for finance partners. And what about you? How do you finance these projects?
Yeah, sure. So with all of our products, it really differs. With Frequency, the app, it's very scalable. It's just an app. You can download it on your phone. We recently launched it in the US because the healthcare market there is crazy and a lot of people are dependent on apps or different kinds of digital health to get to these problems. And so for Frequency, world domination is kind of the goal. But for Pillow, we ran into that problem because designing for a small niche group is nice, but if you have hardware, especially, it's very hard to scale it. And yeah, we ran into that problem of just not having enough money to buy a big mold so you can make a lot of pillows at the same time. We had to make it by hand every time, which made it very expensive, which brought all types of problems.
And is it on the market, the pillow?
It is on the market, but we have the ceiling of what we want to achieve and what we can achieve right now.
Okay.
so it's not always the goal. It wasn't the goal to begin with to have world domination with Peddo. It was just really making something for a small group that didn't have a lot of innovations yet. Yeah. That was my question, right?
Yeah, no, what's your answer?
That
Really
was my
good.
answer.
Well done. Do.
Yeah. Well, we want to grow this bottom up. Yeah, so we want to start with a pilot in the Eindhoven environment.
You don't want to take over the world?
No,
World?
No, he also asked, do you want to conquer the world with your
No, not really.
Oh, okay. That's right.
Now we start. What is important that for every implementation, because we foresee that there will be multiple implementations, that we do an implementation for a certain ecosystem. So that's a particular environment where we have different organizations of elderly people. Some of these are regional, local, because we think that that's probably where we have the most effect to support those organizations in a B2B mode, bring them together. And it's also creating networks that probably do not exist yet. And by bringing them together around this platform, we can also ideally shape those ecosystems for elderly people. So you don't do that globally, I mean, not even nationally.
I was asking that because at a certain time you mentioned these happiness coaches, and that's definitely a limiting to explode into a world thing. But how do you plan to get those happiness coaches? Are you going to work with an institution, with a group of therapists, or I don't know, who they may be, or
that's about people, so that's the hardest part. The happiness coaches.
I think Betsy has an idea for you.
Yeah. Well, I think if you can establish local success with your program, and you could have some, let's say, researchers write about your process, that's a way to scale it worldwide. If it gets a lot of people saying, hey, this is a right approach, and we should adopt that in our town, and and it doesn't have to be you dominating the world. It could be about an idea, right? I think it sounds really great, actually, what you're doing, because I think we all need to grow happiness. So, yeah.
Well, I also have a question. I'll come to you after that. Do elderly people need to change, or in a certain way, or does society need to change how we look at elderly people?
Elderly people need to change when they want to change. In the end, sometimes they don't know what they want.
Yeah.
But in general, it is important that elderly people keep on changing and moving. Because if you stand still, you degrade very quickly beyond a certain age. Society needs to maybe adapt as well, because there's still a general tendency to look at elderly people as a problematic group. And that's, I think, the basic idea of Hans when he started, that this is not the way to look at elderly people. Some people need support, but there is a huge potential also. And because you get more elderly people, they live longer, they are usually in a much better condition than they used to be in the past for all sorts of reasons. And after work, I mean, it doesn't stop. The third part of your life starts.
For sure.
So it's a different way that I think society also needs to look at this group. And you see at certain areas that the potential is really discovered. I mean, if you look at travel agencies, how they focus on elderly people, because these people have all the time and quite often the money to travel the world. Well, that in a way is also contributing to happiness, but it's a very fragmented, very specific view on elderly people.
I love how your project makes you happy yourself. Your Active at Age project makes you happy as well.
Yeah, well, I'm maybe an example of that second category, still active.
Perfect. We have another question here.
And it makes me happy to work on things like that. Yeah, it's challenging and it keeps me going.
We have a question.
Sure.
Hello,
It's working. It's for the
Hello,
movie.
I'm Bas. I was wondering, did you do extensive surveys on all kinds of platforms like Senior Web or something else? So what people would like to do? Did you do that?
But we're still doing that. Yeah, we made an inventory of all sorts of platforms. We're more or less doing things like which are somewhat getting close to what we do. We're also talking to some of these organizations because we don't want to dominate the world. Yeah, so through our platform, we may link to those organizations who are good in specific service areas, like organizing leisure activities for elderly people. Yeah, so we can connect to them, and the advantage that we have from that is that we connect their users to our platform as well. So this is part of this ecosystem shaping that we want to do.
Do you have a question for Sophie?
Is that the answer to your question?
I was wondering, did you do a survey to what people really want? So
okay.
Elderly people didn't answer. I would like to program for handicapped people. I've programmed for handicapped people. Maybe that's. I was a programmer in my former life when I was working, and now I want to do something useful. Maybe I can do something useful with that or other things. Really, what do they want to do? Did you do a survey to that? Not in general, but specific.
Of course, we asked ChatGPT questions like that. That's where you start with nowadays. But we still need to do some testing with elderly people. So before we start really with a pilot in the Eindhoven area, we want to have a dedicated trial with some people to get their feedback on the ideas that we have. Because it's very easy that you end up in an ivory tower with your own ideas, where it is important that we are really in touch with our target group.
Okay. We have another question.
I just wanted to say that I do think there's value to what you're trying to accomplish. Just to share an experience, recently I was at an event and there was a retired lady who had a lot of energy and really vital, and she mentioned, few things have changed in my life and I have to reinvent myself. That was really confronting to me. It's like, oh, I still have to do that when I'm there. So actually, potentially you're building for a certain target group, but I mean, there's more of us coming after. So there's value in that. And what other people have mentioned, you mentioned the blue zones and how community, it's a driver of happiness, but there were other variables as well as skill, right? Like if someone is really skilled in a hobby, that already can give a lot of fulfillment. But then you also mentioned you have to narrow it a little bit. And I do think there's a little bit of truth in that, because you then make your question or your approach easier for yourself and your team. And I think often what helps narrowing that down is, where do I get my traction and who is paying for this?
Yeah, agree.
Okay. Well, it's interesting. A few years ago, you saw this 50 plus uitzendbureaus. I don't know, what is uitzendbureau?
Employment agency.
Temporary agencies for 50 plus people, that people who were like 50 plus were not able to get a job, but they have lots and lots of knowledge and experience, much more than, the younger people. And I think it's also a bit of the Dutch culture, to say it like that we don't see so many elderly people at the streets anymore, and they are not really part of the society. It's in different cultures you see that the elderly people are like the smart ones and with the experience, and they become a different person in a different stage. I missed that a little bit in the Netherlands as well. That was. We have a question here.
I have one question regarding the augmented reality app. So you call it serious play, and that triggers me a lot, because I think playing is one of the most important human activities. And why on earth do you think you have to point out that it's serious? And my perception is that there's a stigma on adults playing. It's only allowed for board games or video games or certain things. So is this also your perception, that there's a stigma?
I ask her the same question.
Yes. Specifically for people with tinnitus are usually older, so it's also an older target audience. And we don't use the word game anymore, because it really sets this picture of haha, it's not serious. You know, so it's like, it's childish. It's for a certain group of people that like animated content, and I'm not like that. I am a serious adult. So we do struggle with that a lot. The rest of all the games we make, it's all very, we flaunt the gaming because we think, come on, play and games are so important for your brain to stimulate, and it can unleash and unhook so many ways of thinking that you aren't able to come up with yourself. But yeah, there's a bit of a stigma on it, and I hate it as well. Yeah.
I think I'm surprised that they will need happiness coaches then when they get old. But
yeah. We just keep on. We have to keep on playing forever.
Yeah, we do.
I have a kind of close-up question to Sophie. I'm curious about your future plans.
For me personally?
Yes.
Or for the apps?
Because Sophie works 4 days a week at Hulan, and 1 day a week for yourself as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So, I mean, regarding the story that you told, and what comes next?
What comes next? So, for me personally, I'm very interested in the beginning stage of an innovation. So I'm really interested in, there's a tiny group with a really big problem and they're overlooked, and I'm the one that can pick their brain and try to find a solution and then make that solution and then give it to the person who makes it and then go on to the next one. So for me personally, I would like to just keep going with finding these tiny groups of people that really need help. And for the things that I made, with the people that I made them, it's just for them to keep, to keep this small aura around them, that they don't become really big corporate businesses, but just small innovations that can really help. So, yeah.
Wow, small innovations, big impact.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. Annemone, we have the last question for you.
It's basically the same question we always ask. How can we help you? We have a lot of good people here in the audience. Can we help you? What can we do?
Yeah, for me, like Charlotte said, I am just starting up my own company as an innovation designer for healthcare, and that's also a niche. So for me, just connections to people that may need help in business development, in these kinds of questions, would help me a lot. Yeah, that's mine.
Well, we need money.
Elderly people, they need money.
I'm going to show you a QR code. We're still looking for people who want to participate as a co-founder, particularly in a technical area. And we've been struggling with that because we had several technical people coming, young people, so they still had to work for their money. So when they had time, they were with us, but when a new job came up, it was, okay, thank you, I have to take care of my family. Because we don't have any money to spend at the moment, as I said, and there's a request for subsidy in the pipeline. But in return, we're looking for technical people who can really build something, and they can be part of the team as a co-founder, and who knows whatever the company is going to bring you.
Anyone raising hands for? No, we have drinks afterwards.
You can think about it.
Yeah. Well, an innovation cafe, we always finish off with some regulars who will give us some kind of a summary of our presentation. And today it will be Burak and Betsy.
Yeah.
Don't be shy.
So usually it's Hans, and I'll never do as good a job as Hans, because he even draws pictures to go with it all, and he always has quotes and amazing wisdom to kind of to bring to the subject. That said, I really enjoyed today's talk. I think everybody did, because I believe you are in different places in your journey. Where we talked about how Sophie is really at a place where she's looking for niche groups, target groups that need innovation to maybe overcome something or change something about their lives using innovation, and Do has chosen to take on a very large and growing group. And also applying innovation to help people again change. So I think that's your ribbon of truth, is that we all see the need to change as a core to our happiness, right? And you in the quote that you had was small impact, big change. I think that's the message. Funding is always a problem. That's actually my role in all the innovations that I work with. Innovation is hard work, and we all need money to do it. One idea I had for Do actually was, have you know the folks at Eindhoven Engine, right? They take. Oh, good. You are working with them. Oh, that's good and important. Okay, good. It sounded like an innovation, an Eindhoven Engine problem. So very good. Okay, and I guess that's really my summary is that you're both doing the right things. It's about getting out of the thinking phase and now going out there and doing it. I think that's what the title of our talk today kind of inspired. That now it's time for Do to take his innovation to the people. I think if you can find a way to do that without a lot of money, that's the best way. Yeah. See you later.
Thank you, Betsy.
Yeah.
You can do it again, for sure. Burak.
All right, I'll try as well. I'd like to ask one question to Sophie before
We were
attempting
doing a
the...
wrap-up, no question. Just go.
You mentioned at some point de-learning. Did you mean unlearning?
Yeah.
Well, I was fascinated by that part. That was part of one of the products, right?
Yeah.
The frequency, yeah. That is really important because I think the unlearning is the most difficult learning method that a person could achieve in his life, or her life. That was the part that I really was fascinated with. And apart from that, I could only appreciate all the products that you are achieving to make the life of vulnerable people better. And I wish you a lot of success in your business. And though, well, I know about Hans as well, and the project is quite nice. I imagine a world that these sort of projects are not necessary. I imagine a world that when you see someone, doesn't matter, regardless of the age, you just see a human being. Doesn't matter if he is or she is 90 or 7 or regardless of age. And if we don't think from the age perspective, and if we don't immediately categorize, hey, let's help this to elderly people, let's do this to younger people, then we wouldn't think of the category, and then we would be friendly towards one another. But in today's generations, what we miss is, like in the workplace, after 50 days, say, okay, you are no longer necessary in our office and work environment, etc. What we are missing is the wisdom behind all these older generations, what we could learn from them. I mean, who built all these civilizations around the world? They were always older than us. So we are missing the respect sense towards older people. And then I think also many organizations make them seem like they are people who are in need, so let's help them. When you look down and in this sense, so that then the people miss to look at the perspective of learning from them. Yeah. What would be the step if I were dominating the world? I would say start from the younger age with the kids of everyone. Spend time with the older people, starting with the grandfathers and grandmothers, of course. Respect them and learn from them. But in the practical today's world, one idea would be, if I was a mayor of Eindhoven, just a couple of houses free to visit for all generations, and they just meet there and they just talk and drink coffee. That's how I look at your project, and I would like to contribute if.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done. Thank Robert, can you put on the last slide? That's a very important slide. Well, thank you, Do.
Very important.
Yeah, it's a very important one. Do, Sophie, thank you so much for your inspiring presentation. And I suggest we all keep on playing until we are happily older. Wow. For sure. And everybody, thank you so much for being here in this heat. And thank you for your patience and your interesting questions. And now we can go to the bar. If you want to join, we have afterwards a Innovation Café dinner. Please come to Sophie with a pretty blouse and let her know if you want to stay for dinner. Oh, Sophie. Sorry. Sophie. Of course. And we believe in the gift to grow, which is very important for us. So if you would like to contribute, something, please use the QR code for next time. And for next time, please bring your friends, family, colleagues to join us for the next time. Thank you very much and enjoy your evening. I have a friend, Sophie, who has this kind of blouse. So I'm like looking at you. Yeah, here. Yes. Yeah, I liked the beginning. It was really good. Yeah. But afterwards, we lost you and it was too long. But it was really good. Just keep it short the next time and you will run this time for sure. I give a solution as well. Solution idea for practice.